Where do I get to my videos? Trying to see how we got our Bendix. Thanks for the live stream. Thank you very much. More than welcome. I'm just trying to. It's always very difficult. Let's have a look. Is it going up okay? For some strange reason. 14 watching. That's. I think we may have broken the live stream. Hi Zach, nice to see you there. It's a bit late for you, is it not a school night? We are back, grand. So sorry about that, nothing to do with me, but there's always some little scumbag, isn't there? Yeah, we're back. Oh, and hi to Angus's Trains. Not seen you for a while. How are you doing? We're just piling back in. Oh, off till Wednesday is that? Yeah. Brilliant. We seem to be back up and running. So, yeah, I think we're back. Right, anyway, Great Model Railway Challenge. So, yeah, if you know any of the people, and just a reminder that Warrington Train Spotter 2778, I have dubbed the Sir Moderator. So, you have the power to click... Oh. You have the power to ban these people. So, yeah. So hopefully, from time to time, you'll have to ban the scumbag. But they have been reported repeatedly. Clearly, they've got no life because they're hanging around trying to be. Yeah, what the hell? Angus's Trains. Yeah, there you are, Angus. You can be a moderator. Oh, you have the power. I don't know if this is permanent. You may end up permanently a moderator. Yeah, James, I've done the same. I've reported them for hate speech, spamming, all sorts. I don't understand how they're able to repost because they have been, their account is blocked. We've blocked the account, so I don't know how it's doing that. But they do probably hacked YouTube. I've been grand, thank you, Jenny. Jenny? No, I'm Jenny. I've been grand, thank you, Angus. It's good to see you, actually. I've been wondering how you were doing. Yeah, it's been a while. I can't make everybody moderators. Let's see. I'm a moderator, and so is my wife. It's a bit Monty Python, isn't it? No, I've got 2 moderators now, but just keep an eye on the neighbourhood. They're probably out busy doing whatever kiddie hacking thing that they have to do to then smear their filth over everything. But unfortunately, this is a problem that anybody who's vaguely successful gets, is that there's always one little scumbag who seems to think it's funny to smear their filth all over the world. Oh, interesting idea there. So Zoe's added herself as a moderator. Boom. Anyway, where were I? Oh, yes, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Right, I can get back to the booze. Yes, you do, Zoe. Right, a Great Model Railway Challenge. So, I actually know how it all pans out, it has to be said. I know I've teased a lot about Great Model Railway Challenge, but the simple truth is there's a lot that I can't tell you about. But what I can tell you is that Les Cliff and I feature in the 20th of September episode, which will go out, and you will then see all of the stuff that we've been hinting a little bit at. Yeah, Canadian Rail Fan. We have, I think we're verging on 3 hours. This will end up being the longest live stream ever. It has to be said. But yeah, I'm going to try and keep this a little bit short. And to be honest, yeah, I'm in the mood to talk. So, what's that? We have another troll. Oh, troll. Where? I don't see the troll. Oh, hello, Les. You back? I don't. Have you been watching all the way through, Les? Because obviously Les, everybody, Les Cliff that you see here was on the team. He's actually made the team captain. Oh, making a joke. Sorry. I think the little the scumbags got bored and moved on because they kept blocking them. Either that or YouTube has actually just killed their channel. But yeah. 5 hours difference. Yeah. Oh. Hi, Dovens GWR. Welcome back. But right. Anyway, I'm going to try and talk. I'm going to try and stay on topic. Oh, that's not going to happen, is it? Basically, so if I'm ignoring your comments, it's not that I'm ignoring your comments. I did try and keep on top of the comments earlier on in the live stream. I spent 2.5 hours, desperately trying to keep up with the comments. So what I'm going to try and do is talk some more about Great Model Railway Challenge. Questions I keep getting asked. How did you get involved? I got asked, actually at Worley, the last Worley, I was asked at that point, would I form a team? And that was about the point when Auntie Jenny's Guinness World Record. Oh, right, Angus has changed. You started at 4:30 and I wake up at 6. You start to... I'm right. So I presume... does Australia have daylight saving time as well? So at some points your time zone moves away from ours. I'm not sure. Oh, Jen, take a drink and focus. Oh, I'll drink to that. But yeah, anyway, where were we? Oh yes, the prologue. So Worley last year, which is sort of like November, something like that. I got asked would I form a team. Now I'd been involved in the first series when they were trying to like iron out the wrinkles in the format. All TV programs go through a process where they're kind of working out what they're going to do, what they're not going to do, and I was one of the people that they consulted with, but very loosely consulted with. I wasn't like the we must get Jenny on the hotline. Hello. It was just simply a case of chatted with me via emails, that kind of thing, spoke on the telephone. And then I was the team captain of Team Sci-Fi in Series 1, but for various complicated reasons, I decided to drop out. It was causing me a lot of stress at the time. Excuse me. So I dropped out. The team still went on. They replaced me with somebody else, and they built the Dalek-themed episode. And then at Ali Pali, I got asked by... I can't remember who it was from the production team. I can't remember who it was. But Brockwell Lane, I don't know whether Kathy does any demos. I never saw her do any modelling whatsoever, it has to be said. That doesn't mean that she didn't film stuff that we weren't privy to, but certainly at the filming, I saw no evidence of either her or Steve Flint making anything. But of course, I'm not privy to the full filming, so who knows? I don't know. Les didn't see her do anything either. They filmed us do an awful lot of stuff, and so I'm guessing the people making the layouts come out of it looking really, really good. I do know that Kathy does do a lot of stuff on YouTube, very accomplished modeller, but in this she's just purely the judge as far as I'm aware. But yeah, anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, Angus is trained. Australia doesn't get to see the Great Model Railway Challenge, and you might do eventually, because I know the Biggest Little Railway eventually got shown down under in Australia. I don't know which channel it went out on, but there was a delay of about 6 or 8 months before it was shown, so you may get it, but I don't know how the syndication works. Now, Hardy, hi to you. I do see your comment about the Caledonia 812, but I'm trying to talk about GMRC, so I'm really sorry. I'm going to try and focus. So anyway, I got asked to make a team at Worley last year, so 2018 Worley. And I put together a team of people, which actually included Paul Tyre originally, who was on one of the other teams in the first series of GMRC, and I had Paul Harmon, who was on that team as well as on the reserve list. So I was the team captain. There is actually on my YouTube channel, it has to be said, there is a screen test that I filmed. I filmed a screen test, like audition thing, along with Les Cliff actually. So the video that's on my YouTube, and don't go looking for it, you will not find it. It's a private video, and it's both myself and Les Cliff doing our screen test stroke audition. We did that just after they decided in their infinite wisdom that they wanted Les Cliff as the team leader, and the reason for that, a lot of people have asked me, so why are you not the team leader? Well, I was, and then I wasn't. And it was because of my involvement in GMRC 1 that what happened was that they said that essentially they were worried that the TV company might, because they'd already seen my demo tape, and I auditioned for Kathy Millett, the job that Kathy Millett did. I just want to put that out there, that they didn't just go to Kathy Millett and say, would you be a judge? Didn't work like that. There was a long list of about 6 people. I was one, Kathy Millett was one, and then there was his name keeps escaping me. There's a friend of mine, he runs the vegan cafe in Sheffield. Keen railway modeller, he was on Biggest Little Railway. He went after it as well, and there was at least 3 other people. So you can imagine 6 of us. We did a thing over Skype, and then they picked, as far as I'm aware, only 2. There was a friend from Sheffield and Kathy Millett. Then went forward and did an actual screen test down in London, and they picked Kathy Millett. Steve Flint was always going to do it. He was a shoo-in, but that's how Kathy Millett was picked as a judge, as far as I'm aware, because I went through the same process, but they decided they wanted me as a team leader and didn't want me as a judge. I'm not very good at selling myself, it has to say. I should have pushed harder. If I'd have known then what I knew now, then in all honesty, I would have pushed harder and would have tried desperately to become the judge, because that is the gravy train. But I didn't, it happened. I got to do Biggest Little Railway. I got a big role in Biggest Little Railway, so I'm not always the bridesmaid in these things. Right. What's that? James Carroll. Jenny, take 3 big more sips will help with the focusing. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Hocus Pocus by Focus, Ham Shackleton. Brockwell Lane, have they got rid of that challenge? No one liked doing it. No, the scratch build challenge is still there. It actually worked okay from what I saw this year. None of the teams particularly liked it. It's still a hated thing. But it's a bit of fun. It's like this fun element. It's not in the final. The final doesn't have a scratch build challenge, but there is a scratch build challenge. Was done for all of the heats and for the semi-finals. Obviously not going to tell you anything about that because that would be spoilers. But essentially, where we are, yes, meanwhile, back at the branch. So anyway, the team had Paul Tyre, Les Cliff, because I've seen Les's work, and I know that Les is very, very Nick. Yeah, Les Cliff, Nick. You know how it is. Like some of his names is like, and you know him really well. And anyway, Nick. He got as far as the screen test down in London. He could quite easily have been the judge, but I think they wanted the male-female dynamic. And the problem that Nick had was that Steve Flint was always going to be a judge, and I think they just decided to go with the female judge to to get that male-female. And unfortunately for me, because I'd been knocked out at the Skype interview stage, Kathy Millett was the only woman, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, What else? So essentially, we put this team together. There was Brian, Melanie Lewis, and Stefan Nilsson, who is the editor of Modeliana Schwags Magazinet over in Sweden. And we put together this team. And then Paul Tyre dropped out late in the day. And we ended up with Simon A.C. Martin, who you may know as being the author of the Great British Railway Stories, which is like a bit like Thomas the Tank Engine, but for copyright reasons not. Very successful. He's also big on the Volvo scene. He's done loads of other TV programmes as well. A lot of things to do with cars and stuff. So, he's a big player in the TV world with cars. But he's also a keen modeller. So anyway, that was our team. And then we had, essentially, once we were through the selection stage and our team was green lit, and it has to be remembered that there was well over 100 teams applied to be on Great Model Railway Challenge. Thank you, Angus's Trains. That is very kind of you to say that I'd have been a great judge. I would, because you've seen how I do my reviews. I'm very generous. Yes, Warrington Transporter 2778, getting ahead of myself, but yes, third series I believe is on the cards. But essentially, we then had, I can't remember when we started planning the thing, but they'd had over 100 teams apply. Pat Doyle told me it was well over 100, so take that what you may, but it was a number well above 100, but not quite 200. They whittled that down to 15. I think they had a couple in reserve just in case. But to actually even get on the programme meant that there was something about your modelling skills and the fact that you were... was that a beacon? Because... you're up against some really tough modellers, but it meant that you were also, I think it was about not just being about good modellers, but being interesting people on TV, and I think we delivered on that. If anything, I think we were really quite an interesting team. Gamehammer Classic Gamer, that's absolutely true. So basically, even if you didn't get through your first appearance on the show, you'd already done exceptionally well. So essentially, every team that you see on GMRC, even if they crash and burn out in the heat, and nobody did crash and burn, that just didn't happen. But even if they come last in the heat, they have still done exceptionally well to get there. And what we had in terms of product, people say, how did you have to use X, have to use Y? You got sheafs and sheafs of paperwork, and it was just a complete order list of every product that was available for you to order. And then you got a monetary budget. So, for example, it's like £750 worth of Pico products. They were full RRP, but you weren't paying for them, but you had a £750 allocated budget. So you could order products up to that budget. And then there was like £500 from Bachmann, £500 from Hornby, £240 from Gauge Master, something like that. And it went through. There was Pico, Hornby, Bachmann, Gauge Master, Deluxe Materials, and then there was another one. I can't remember their name, but you only had like 50 quid's worth of credit, and I'll be honest, it was a struggle finding anything we could use. And essentially, they would then just ship this stuff direct to you. And it was like Christmas. They were all coming to my house because my house became Team HQ, because I was the only one of the 6 who actually had the space in the house to be able to... Metcalf, Philip Page, absolutely. Sorry, I knew I missed one off. There's about 250 quid's worth of Metcalf stuff, which is actually quite a lot of stuff. And then in the actual heat rounds, the way it worked was that you got your theme, and then you had a couple of months. You couldn't build the layout, but within the rules, there was these pre-builds, and it's only in the heats do you have pre-builds. So each team would rock up with, I'm trying to remember how many, was it 6? Les, you'll tell me. It's 6. J. Paul Anderson, those are some good brands. And it was good stuff. And like the Bachmann range, it includes Woodland Scenics, and all of these different ranges. It was just unbelievable. 6. So 6 pre-builds. So essentially, one per team member. But Stefan Nilsson, because he was coming from Sweden, he didn't do a pre-build. And who did 2? Melanie did 2. I did 1. Les did 1. And Brian did 1. I think that's how it worked. And Simon did 1 as well. And essentially, within the space of the rules, they were things like, a building or a structure that you could build and finish before you got to that. But, that was just like a drop in the ocean compared to the full size of this 10-foot by 5-foot layout. You could lay track and ballast it and do the electrics for it on 2 of the 3 boards. But the 3rd board had to be a barren, virgin wasteland. So, but essentially, when you rock up there, when they first start filming, there's not a lot to see. And we really did build these layouts in 2.5 days. The pre-builds were great, but they weren't the be-all and end-all. So you will see some incredible building. But yeah, I like transport. You're saying there, good job you weren't in GMRC or GMRC2. My modelling isn't great. I was really scared. I have to say, when I went, I was racked with doubts about my modelling skills, and it's one of the reasons it caused me so much stress for Series 1 that I dropped out, was because there was a lot of onus being put on me, and I wasn't sure I could deliver. And I thought, I don't want to go on TV and make a fool of myself. And it has to be said, and I don't know whether I've even said this to Les before, but the reason I was happier to do Series 2 was because Les said yes to being on my team. And it's true, Les. Your modelling skills were so good that I felt that with you on the team, I thought, I'm happy to do it. Les will be this anchor in the team, and I can do this. And, I think a lot about modelling is confidence. And what the series did show me is that, when you build the confidence, you think, I'm doing this, I can do this. You can achieve an awful lot. So, you're being cruel on yourself. I like transport. You would find you'd get there, and actually you'd be really good. And that was the thing that we were trying to show with this series an awful lot, was that anybody can do this. It's not the preserve of the super anal modelers. Anybody can get stuck in and have a go. Yeah, let's go. The series will help newbies, certainly. And let's go. Yeah, we set a record. Yeah, we did set. We set a sort of informal record. There's one record that they were like, wow, but I can't really tell you any more about it. So careful, Des. But yeah, it's about being creative, and I think as well as a team, we fed off each other. So because we had multiple creative people, you kind of, you bounced off each other, and it got better and better and better. And Warrington Transport at 2778, you're really kind there. Jenny, your modelling is outstanding. I've watched from the start the new loft layout, and amazing. But I'm racked with self-doubt about stuff, and a lot of see you later, Angus James. You have a really good day. Don't worry about it, and hopefully we'll check next time. But you may still be a moderator next time, in which case, ka-ching. But yeah, look, you have yourself a good day. It's been great to see you again. I missed you, actually. I was worried that you'd got bored with the live stream, but now I know that we were kind of on a bit too early for you. That's grand. But yeah, and Canadian Rail fan, were themes really weird? I wouldn't say massively weird, not all of them. And somebody did ask whether there was any teams who just ignored the theme. I didn't see any evidence of that. Certainly there were a few people who pushed it to the limits, but we didn't get conventional model railways. What you will see is pushing the boundaries of what is possible. And we're not talking about really, really wacky stuff, although in some cases you could say. But all teams got behind this notion that we were about, if you show the most amazing, then it gives people at home the confidence to do the mundane and be confident that they can do it. So it's if you're going to show changing oil and spark filters on a car, why show people on something really easy like a Nissan Micra when you could show it them on a Bentley Continental GT? You know, so, and it's about impressing people but inspiring them, and I think that we did manage to do that. That's really, really kind of you, Angus. Really kind. But yeah, I hope to see you next time. You take care. Have yourself a great time. Right, Blockwell Lane. Were all the teams there at the same time? No, each heat was filmed separately. So you had your you 3 days of filming, which is actually 2.5 days of build, and then half a day of filming the actual all the other stuff in the pickups. But there was only those 3 teams there in those heats. So the way it worked, there'd be like this filming block of 3 days, and then they'd have a day where they kind of clear the studio, get prepped for the next filming block, and then there'd be 3 days, a day off, prep for filming, and 3 days, and that's how they were filming it. Les, about 24 hours. We reckoned you actually got 24 hours of actual build time. So it's like 10 hours the first day, 10 hours the second, and 4 on the last. Essentially, it was tough. It was against the clock. You couldn't you couldn't actually sit there and rest on your laurels. You had to keep going. It was like non-stop, and that made it quite hard. And yeah, there was friction between team members on all the teams because of that, but there was an excellent camaraderie, and no, I didn't see any like mega meltdowns or anything. There was no hissy fits and stuff, and yeah, there was peacocks and stuff. SF Ratton NZ, hi Jennifer, Kevin from New Zealand, loved your layouts updates. Thank you very much for that, really appreciate it. And you know, what you see on Wear Yard, I know I kind of hinted a lot all the way through it, but a lot of what you see on Wear Yard are techniques I learned through doing GMRC, because I was building Wear Yard at the same time that we were doing all this filming. So I was taking what I was learning from that filming and applying it to Wear Yard, and maybe I kind of maybe gave this aura that like, oh, this is dead easy, this. And I'd be using techniques that I'd only learnt that week. And a lot of it is confidence. If you're confident in yourself, it's actually a lot easier than you'd imagine. And the museum was not open to the public at the time of filming Blockwell Lane. Otherwise, the public would have been able to see everything that was going on. There were events going on. There's like some kind of an antiques fair going on in one of the other fields, like a big marquee. But there wasn't really people passing through, generally speaking. And, you know, whilst we got to ride on the railway, it wasn't open to groups or anything. So that's how that that's kind of how that worked. Les, even Les, the guru of modelling, who I've always really looked up to, he learnt new techniques as well, and it was great. And you got to use materials that you wouldn't necessarily have bought for yourself either, because they were super expensive. You just didn't know about them. We were going through the Woodland Scenics price list and things we'd never heard of, because a lot of this stuff in the UK you don't necessarily easily find in model shops. So we were trying out stuff, and you know, some of it was like, wow, this is really good stuff. Anyway, look, Les, I'll catch you later. It's great to have you in, and I'm going to have you in as an actual guest at some point. Warranty transporter. Blue spanners means we can hit trolls over the head. But thank you, Les. I like transport. When I comment on your normal videos, even if it's a question, I never seem to get a reply. Why is this? Workload. I'm afraid of late I've been so busy that I only get to look through some of the comments on the videos, and I'm really sorry about this. I can only apologise, but it's just I work in my day job 4 days a week, and I do very long hours. I can do like 15 hours a day on that job, plus commuting time, and I travel to clients up and down the country. So there's a lot of travelling involved. So for Wednesday to Saturday, I just have no time realistically to do much looking at YouTube and that. And then on the Sunday, I tend to use that as my day of recovery. So I'll go up in the loft and just have a quiet day in the loft building stuff, or just do DIY around the house. Or we have a walk out into town, that kind of thing. So Sunday, I kind of earmark as my day off, my recharge day. And then Monday and Tuesday, I do my media work. So I film videos for the YouTube channel. I kind of rock out and we'll film 3, 4, 5 videos in a row over the Monday and the Tuesday. So there's videos going up on my channel that were filmed yesterday, edited today. We've still got stuff to film actually. Up here, sat waiting patiently, is the Daypole Bogey Bolsteree, and that's hopefully going to be Saturday's video. But then also, like today, I've excuse me. Then also I do other stuff. I write magazine articles. I write books. And I'm currently working with the music producer Bruno Greif, who is better known as the man behind the pop group, the Israeli pop group Terry Poison. And also... you've got to remember, swear words don't carry over into different languages very well. So he has another group that is huge in Russia, but it's an English name, and it's F it all, but you can imagine the F is actually spelt out in full. But, right, where was I? Hornby ballast for 80p, I like transport. I'll be honest with you, I use kiln dried sand, it has to be said. James Carroll, Jenny, next time an opening for an associate editor at Model Railroad, you should apply. Kathy did, why not you? It's not a magazine that I read. I'll be honest with you, let me know if you see one come up. I write a lot for Model Janusvags Magasinet in Sweden. And I also do write occasionally for BRM, for Model Rail, MRE Mag in the UK. I got my book writing career. I'm just looking around to see actually if there's any in here. I don't see any. I'm well behind on that as well. I'm supposed to be writing sequels to books, new books, short stories as well. But the work with Bruno Greif, it's like whoosh, whip, crack away. Got an album coming out. He's bringing an album out on next Monday, and then he wants 2 weeks after that the collaborative album we've been working on with me done. And so I've got to spend a lot of tomorrow doing a lot of writing. I've got to write something like, I've got to match up 14 short stories, science fiction or fantasy fiction stories, to what are currently instrumental tracks. They've then got to have vocals recorded onto them, which is essentially somebody reading my short stories to the music. And the short stories, so the music inspires the short story, the person reads it, it's then got to be mastered so that it doesn't sound like somebody just reading a short story and some music playing in the background. So it makes it almost sound like that person speaking the short story is part of the record. So I'm working on that as well at the moment. Doing car things as well. A lot of Volvo related bits and pieces going on in the background. World record attempts. My life is very busy, so that is why I'm pretty useless at answering comments at the moment. Canadian Rail fan. Sorry, Jen, was there any teams like Four Leaf Flyers in season 2 and 10:04 UK time? Yes, it is actually 10:04 UK time. No, there weren't any that kind of did their own thing or made tweed chocolate box layouts. I never saw anything like that. James Carroll, Kathy does segments on Model Railroaders Video Plus. What's that? Is that a TV program or is that like a YouTube channel? Not familiar with that. I know she does her own channel. But yeah, I do a lot of how-to guides on YouTube. Trying to do more of those. I find them very interesting, and now that I've got the confidence through doing GMRC, I want to do a lot more. Bluegrass Railfan. It's a video service on the MR. Is that Model Rail's site? Oh, so Model Railroaders site. Right. I know what's neat this week. Podcast. Ken Patterson did ask me to go on that. I must get in contact, but I've been so busy. So occasionally Ken has been known to dip into this channel, and so I can only apologise to him. It's just been so busy. I like transport. Are Bachman still stocking Hattons? Someone said they are. Is this true? They've still got a load of Bachman old stock, but they're not being supplied by Bachman at all. There's a falling out. In my opinion, I think Hattons have handled themselves fine, and Bachman have come across badly. Warrington Transporter 2778, right to go. Got to go now. Watch a film. Hope you're both okay. Good night to you and Zoe, and peace to you both. Good night to you as well. I'm gonna have to actually wind this up. Brockwell Lane, did your favourite model railway win, not including your team? I can see why. Yeah, I like transport very much so. I can see why the layout that won did win, and I've probably said too much now, but yeah, it wouldn't have been the layout that I would have picked necessarily, but I can see why it won. But hey, Alan Reynolds, PVA J cloth, good to see you. That is a good technique actually. I've been using that to death. Although for GMRC we got to use a lot of plaster cloth because we weren't buying it. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of preparation for the heat layout. So when we got there, we knew exactly what we were doing, and that helps a lot, having a good plan, it must be said. Any teams that got through to the semi-final didn't get that. There was no pre-builds for the semi-finals, according to the rules. And also, whilst there was a scratch build challenge, teams essentially just got a couple of weeks at most to plan out, and then boom, they were straight in. James Carroll, Kathy works as an associate editor with Kalmbach Publishing through Video Plus. That series is tied in with Model Railroader. I'd love to do stuff like that, but nobody ever asks me, unfortunately. Oh, is that a violin playing my tune? But yeah, there's a lot of people saying, gotta go to bed. So I'm looking at the time, actually. So we've done well over 3 hours. So essentially, I can't say too much about GMRC. So there's no point in me talking about Beyond the Heats for now. But certainly there'll be more information coming out as it gets shown on TV. Well, you just watch it on TV and you'll find out. But there'll be more behind the scenes stuff that will actually I'll be able to talk about once each episode is aired, I guess. But Bluegrass Railfan, last comment here. 3-hour live stream is pretty dedicated, certainly is. Ben Davis, hi Jennifer. See the new print job on the USA TC 2253. I've not seen that actually. The USA TC 2253 in red. I'm not seeing that, it has to be said. But anyway, good night everybody. I'm going to call it a night now because I've been going for a record for me. But anywho, I hope it's given you a little bit of an insight into GMRC. I know I keep getting sidetracked. That's just me, isn't it? And look out for my debut LP to drop. Boom! But actually, it's mostly Bruno Grief's work. He's just, I just get on really well with him and still mystified as to why he's come to me out of all writers. But turns out he likes some of my sci-fi, so there we go. But yes, Jen is drunk. Yes, Jen is drunk. Right, anyway, you all take really good care of yourself. We've got a new video coming up on Wednesday, Friday and Saturday, but until then, take really good care of yourself. Thanks for watching.
Stop. Why didn't you mention that you've got extra stuff coming out? Because
also the comics as well that I forget. I didn't even mention the comics
because she forgets so much. She writes the comics and then leaves them to me to draw. We've got 2 other books coming as well.
Yeah, books. Which books have we got coming?
Knob Mouse book 2 and All of the House book 4 are in the works.
Really? We're up to book 4 already?
We're working on it, yeah.
So these are available through all good bookshops and some really poor ones as well. Also, you can buy them through Amazon.
And our website.
And also allmousemedia.com. Go there, find the books, buy these, buy my books, bloody bloody blah. You know the drill by now. And also, merchandise the heck out of this. Right, anyway. Look, thanks again for watching. It's always great to have your company. It's me, Jenny Coates, saying take care, night night, bye for now.